Ready on his second attempt. That one is no good. They battle for it. Loose ball. Recovered Marvin. He scores. Pushes into Hubert Davis. 8 seconds. Davis trying to get free. Over to Fox. Fox, baseline. Up for the shot. Good. Off the glass. Oklahoma calls timeout. But the game is over. The game is over. Carolina has upset number 1 Oklahoma.
With 20 seconds left to play. Goes back to Michael Jordan. Jumper from out on the left. Good! 63-62. 13, 12, 11. Georgetown with 1 timeout. Fred Brown looking. Oh, way to Worthy. Worthy 5. The Tar Heels are going to win the national championship.
Rebounded by Weber. Michigan out of timeout. Weber front court. Carolina with foul. He takes the timeout. They're out of timeout. Technical foul. Technical foul. Brown gets it into Williams. Here comes Williams front court. Williams on the drive. Gets it back out the head. Long outside shot. Short rebounded. There. It's over. Carolina has won the national championship. How about them Tar Heels? They are the national champions.
That's it! Make room for 2017. The Tar Heels are the national daggum champions.
This is the Roy's Boys podcast with your host, Joshua Marlowe.
Hey everybody, welcome into another edition of the Roy's Boys podcast powered by Carolina Electrical Services. Josh and Anthony, we are back, and we have a game to talk about as Carolina starts or hosts Gardner-Webb tonight, 9 o'clock in the Smith Center. Anthony, we've had a week off in between games. Have you enjoyed the time away from Carolina basketball?
I was enjoying my time away until the Tar Heel football team played tonight and took another couple of years off my life. But I think I'm all right. I'm ready to go. Or Tar Heel football last night. That's right. It seems like it was earlier tonight because they played until almost 12:30 or something like that. No, it felt that long now. So. Yeah, but I'm good. I'm glad we're back talking a little bit of Tar Heel basketball here as this team, continues to build early in the season towards what should be an interesting test when we go and head to the battle for Atlanta. So.
I'm going to excuse your comments saying that you enjoyed your time away from Carolina basketball. Complete wrong answer considering you're the co-host of a podcast that covers, I'm not North Carolina basketball, but look. We all make mistakes.
I needed some rest. That was
your one mistake. 2 more and you're out of here. I've already got another co-host in the works. Maybe if I was to move on from you, I have found new talent in the broadcasting field. That's right. But even though it's Gardner-Webb, we've got a lot to do tonight on the podcast. Starting with the opening tip. This is the opening tip.
Hey guys, welcome into this edition of the Roy's Boys podcast. It is Anthony Pagnotta with you. Of course, normally it is Josh Marlowe who hosts this podcast, but today I will be taking over for this interview with Jacob Turner. Of course, we want to remind you that the Roy's Boys podcast is presented by Carolina Electrical Services. And you can go back to our previous podcast because I'm forgetting the phone number, and you can find a way you can contact Jacob Marlowe, and he will take care of all your electrical needs for you. So we have Jacob Turner of Tar Heel Illustrated with us. We are going to talk a little bit of Carolina basketball, one of the guys that was on the front lines for both games so far this season. And Jake, how's it going, man?
It's going good, Anthony. I appreciate you guys having me back on here. I guess it's my first time on the Roy's Boys podcast, but always enjoy working with you guys and looking forward to talking some Carolina hoops.
Well, there you go. I am a part of the podcast, so it kind of runs similar to the Heel Tough blog podcast because I do make sure of that. I slap Josh around a little bit, but we love talking Tar Heel sports, and of course it is hoop season, and the Tar Heels have started off 2-0. It's been a good start for the Tar Heels, and of course one of the guys that has helped the Tar Heels get off to that great start is a guy that, I mean, let's be real honest, we think he might be a once-in-a-generation talent in Cole Anthony. You've seen this guy yourself. How special is Cole Anthony, and do you think he's already ahead of Kobe White as opposed to where, we saw Kobe White a year ago?
Yeah, I think he is, Anthony. I think he's a little bit ahead of Kobe right now. I think Cole's just a little bit more naturally talented than Kobe was, and that's no knock on Kobe. I think, like you mentioned, though, Cole's just kind of one of those once-in-a-generation type players. A lot of people aren't going to like this comparison, but I kind of compare him to Zion Williamson last year with, I think, and not in terms of his game, but in terms of the attention I think he'll be getting, and in terms of the potential of him being a number one draft pick if he keeps up what he's doing. But I think the biggest thing that stands out about Cole is he's really just an alpha dog, man. I mean, he's a leader on this team, make no mistake about that. You'll see him getting on guys. I remember specifically I was courtside for the UNCW game, and he was, talking to a few guys and trying to get guys to huddle up. And I remember one time he was talking to Justin Pierce, just trying to encourage him and tell him what, something to do with his shot, I think is what it was. But Cole Anthony, he's a leader, man. He's a spectacular athlete. He's a spectacular scorer. Roy called him one of the best, I think, actually not one of the best, the best rebounding point guard coming out of high school he's ever seen. And we've seen that with, 34 and 11 in his first game, and then 20 and 10 in his second. So Cole Anthony's been spectacular, man. I don't think you can ask for anything more from him. And I do think he's a little bit ahead of Kobe, and I think his potential is a little bit higher than Kobe. But, I mean, both of those guys are going to have really nice NBA careers regardless. So, the fact that Cole is better than Kobe right now, that's saying a lot because, we all know how good Kobe was last year.
Of course, yeah. No, I mean, no slight towards Kobe. We're just really trying to compare how good Cole is. And you mentioned it. I mean, look, 11 rebounds in the first game, 10 rebounds in the second game of the season, all of them defensive as well. And now, look, we talk about him on the offensive side of the ball. As a defender, this is one of the better defending point guards that the Tar Heels have had in a while, right? I mean, I know it's only 2 games into the season, but he's definitely more than just a willing defender, which you hear a lot when people talk about point guards.
Oh yeah, man, definitely. And he's just got a really solid all around game. I think he's really polished in everything. He's a guy that works really hard. You ask any of the guys after I think I asked somebody, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Leaky Black after the Notre Dame game. And kind of asked him what sets Cole apart. And he was just like his work ethic. Cole was going to get shots up after the game, after the Notre Dame game. He scored 34 points, and he was going to put shots up after the game. There was a photo circulating on Twitter of him doing that. So, yeah, his all-around game is really good. Not only can he score, not only can he rebound, he can defend really well, too. He's just super polished right now. And it's going to be really fun to watch him this year and see how he continues to grow, because I think his ceiling is extremely high. And believe it or not, I don't even think we've seen the best out of Kobe on either side of the ball yet. I think he has a super high ceiling that he'll continue to kind of showcase throughout the year. And obviously he won't have 34 and 11 every game, and I don't expect him to have a double every game. But he's going to be a guy that, as the season goes on, is going to get more and more attention from not only Carolina fans, but from people all over the country, because, he really is just that good at basketball.
Well, you mentioned Leaky Black, and, so far this season, he's played a big role for this Tar Heel team like we thought he would. But he's really, he's had some struggles shooting the basketball. Is, this because maybe we overestimated what Leaky could be as a shooter, or do you think that maybe he's just still working through some things, especially after missing, a good period of time last year in his freshman season?
I think it's a little bit of both, Anthony. I think one thing about Leaky coming out of high school is he was never really an elite scorer. He never really had that part of his game. He was always kind of that. I can't remember what he averaged his senior year, it was either his junior or senior in high school, but it was something like 10 or 12 points, 6 or 7 assists, 7 or 8 rebounds, something like that. So he's always had a really good all-around game, but he's never been the lead scorer. So to be honest, I'm not really sure what his ceiling is in terms of scoring-wise. I think his shot will improve. I've talked to some guys, and I think Roy's even mentioned it, and said that Leaky's shot is better than kind of what's been showcased so far in his career. So I think that will improve, but with Leaky, you get so many other facets of his game, because I think behind Cole, he's probably the second best distributor on this team, because Cole really hasn't showcased it yet. But Cole, he averaged double-digit assists in high school as well. So Cole's a really, really solid distributor of the ball too. But I think what Leaky can do is, I don't think you're ever going to be getting an elite score out of him. I think you might get a couple games where he gets up, in the 10, 15, 20 range, the higher 15 to 20 range on the, scoring wise. But I don't think he's ever going to be a guy that's going to, average, at least not this season. Maybe in the future as he continues to develop his shot. But I don't think, at the end of the year looking back, you're going to see Leaky averaging, 15 or 20 points a game. I just don't think that's what you're going to get out of him. But I think if Leaky can come in and average, 10 points, maybe average 5 assists, at least 5 to 8 rebounds, I think you'd be really happy with that because Leaky's all-around game is really what makes him so special. So I'm actually really curious to see how he continues to develop this too, because we're only 2 games in. But I mean, I think Roy said during the ACC Operation Basketball that he was, one of Carolina's most, if not Carolina's most important player this year because of his versatility and what he can do. So I think Leaky's going to surprise some people around the country as well. I think Carolina fans already really like him and know how good he can be. But yeah, I don't think he's ever going to be an elite scorer. But I could be proven wrong, and hopefully I am, because I think he's a guy that works really hard at it, and his shot will only improve from what it was last year. And like you mentioned, he did miss a lot of the year through injury last season. So it's he's still pretty early in his career, at least games-wise. So it'll be fun to see him continue to grow. But yeah, I think he's got the potential to be a better scorer, but I don't think you'll ever see an elite level scorer out of him.
When you talk about development, one guy that has really taken a significant step early in the season and looks like an important part of this team and is thriving in that type of role is Andrew Platek. I'm not going to say that we should have seen this coming. I understand that he's still not, shooting the ball like some people thought he would when he was originally brought in as a recruit. But what he's doing so far this season, especially with just coming in and being able to take care of the ball, really moving the ball very well, this is, pretty interesting to see. And the biggest question is when Brandon Robinson comes back, do you think that he's going to be able to still have a significant role on this team?
Yeah, I think so. I think Platek's improved a lot. I think he's a guy that's really shown how good he can, not how good he can be necessarily, but how much he's improved. A lot of guys talked about it last year that they really thought he was going to have a big year coming up last season. And he didn't really get an opportunity to play a lot. And he's always kind of said it in interviews and whatever it may be that, he just felt like he needed a consistent chance and a consistent run of games to be able to show what he can do. But a lot of guys have talked about him being, one of the most improved players on this team this season. I think we've seen it in the first couple of games. He had some really big shots against Notre Dame. I remember one big three he hit late that kind of gave Carolina a little bit of a cushion in that second half. So I think what Platek can do is really be a big-time role player for this team. And, Carolina, if you look at Carolina right now, they don't have a ton of guys right now that are consistent scorers, or at least have proven they are. So getting consistent and getting some decent shooting numbers and scoring numbers from him, getting some rebounds, and it doesn't have to – I don't think he's going to be an assist guy, but if he can grab some rebounds, get some solid points, night in and night out, it's only going to help this Carolina team, because right now they're really searching for guys that can consistently, just provide, do something out there, not just come out there and take minutes, but go out there and produce as well. So I think he's going to be one of Carolina's most improved players this season. And based on what we've seen so far from him, I think there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic for what he can be this year. But, it's kind of make or break time for him as well. He's getting a little bit deeper into his Carolina career. He's an upperclassman now. So he's really, really got to come in and be consistent this season if he wants to have a real role on this team going forward. So based on what I've seen from him so far, those are the first 2 games, I think he's definitely going to be considered one of Carolina's most improved players. And I think you can just tell by the way he plays. He's just 100 times more confident than he's ever been. So really happy for him, and that's really good to see, and hopefully that continues throughout the season. Yeah,
Platek has been a nice surprise off the bench for Carolina. And then, of course, the other night against UNC Wilmington, Justin Pierce was a nice surprise. Early on, it looks like Justin Pierce is the guy that's just a little more comfortable with, the pace of of playing on an ACC team, playing with a bigger team. So far early in the year, I mean, is this kind of where you expected the transfers to be at with both Pierce and Kelling?
I'm a little bit surprised at what Keeling's done so far. I think Keeling he's looked a little bit shell-shocked out there at times. I'm not trying to knock on him at all. No, you're right, though. Yeah, I agree. He looks a little bit shell-shocked. I think my boss over at Target Illustrated, AJ, our publisher over there,